Have you ever stopped to wonder why so many good men, decent, hardworking, high value guys, are simply opting out of the dating game altogether, walking away without looking back, and leaving a trail of confused women asking where all the real men have gone? What if I told you that this isn't some random trend or a bunch of lazy excuses, these is tikis, but a deliberate, calculated response to a system that's become completely stacked against men? And by the time you hear the full brutal reality behind it, especially the one thing most women absolutely refuse to admit, even when it's staring them in the face, your entire view of modern relationships will be shattered forever. Stay with me until the very end because that final wake up call is going to hit harder than anything you've ever heard. And it might just explain why you're still single or why the men around you have gone ice cold. If you're getting any value from this right now, do me a solid, smash that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more no filter angry guy content that cuts straight through the nonsense. Also, if you're tired of losing money in crypto or watching your wealth get drained because you don't know what you're doing, head over to Angry's Crypto Academy, where I personally teach you how to properly buy, sell, trade, and most importantly, protect your assets in this wild market. The link is in the description. Go check it out right now and start building real wealth that no one can take from you. All right, let's dive in. Gentlemen, if you're watching this, I already know you're nodding along because you felt it in your gut for years. And ladies, if you're still here, good, because this is for you too. Even though a lot of what I'm about to say is going to sting. This isn't about hating women. This isn't about being bitter or entitled or any of that weak label garbage that's thrown at men the second they dare speak the truth. This is about cold, hard reality in 2025 and beyond. Men are walking away in droves, not just from dating, not just from marriage, but from the entire traditional script that society keeps trying to force down our throats. And the craziest part, it's not because men have suddenly become afraid of women or because we're all glued to video games or porn or whatever cope story gets recycled every few months. No, men are walking away because for the first time in history, we finally have the option to walk away. And when you lay out the actual risks versus the rewards, walking away isn't just smart, it's the only rational choice left. Let me paint this picture for you clearly. Imagine you're a young man today, maybe in your mid 20s to mid 30s. You've worked your ass off. You've built something for yourself. You have ambitions. You have standards. And you're thinking about approaching a woman to start something real. What happens the second you step into that arena? You are immediately stepping onto a minefield where one wrong word, one misinterpreted joke, one moment of vulnerability shown to the wrong person can blow up your entire life. I'm not exaggerating. We have all seen the stories. A casual compliment turns into a harassment claim. A date turns into regret the next morning, and suddenly you're looking at accusations that can end your career before it even starts. And even if nothing that extreme happens, even in the best case scenario, what are you actually signing up for? Let's go through this step by step because I want there to be zero confusion about why this movement, men going their own way, men walking away, whatever you want to call it, is growing faster than anyone wants to admit. Reason number one, why men are done approaching. The juice is no longer worth the squeeze. Back in the day, if you put in effort, courted a woman, built something together, there was a reasonable expectation of loyalty, respect, partnership, and yes, intimacy as a reward for your investment. Today, that social contract is completely shredded. You can do everything right, be provider, protector, emotional rock, the whole package, and still get traded in the second a woman feels even slightly bored or thinks she can do better. Hypergamy is on steroids thanks to social media. The average woman now has access to the top tier of men at her fingertips 24/7. Why settle for the solid guy in her league when she can hold out for the richer, taller, more charismatic version that's always one swipe away? And brothers, We see it. We see the likes, the follows, the DMs. We know the game is rigged. So why play a game where the goalposts move every 5 minutes? But it gets worse. Reason number two: family court and divorce laws that are still stuck in 1950 while society pretends we're in some egalitarian utopia. Tell me how this makes any sense. A man can work 60 to 80 hours a week, build wealth, sacrifice his health and his dreams to provide, and then one day his wife decides she's not happy, whatever the hell that means, files for divorce, and walks away with half his assets, alimony, child support, and often primary custody of the kids he barely gets to see. And for what? Because feelings changed? Because she wants to find herself? I've personally known men who lost everything: their house, their savings, their children, while the ex moves the new boyfriend in the same week the papers are signed. That's not partnership. That's a hostage situation with extra steps. Why would any rational man sign up for that lottery ticket when the house always wins if things go south? Reason number three: the complete devaluation of male effort and sacrifice. Think about it. Men are still expected to pay for dates, to initiate, to lead, to protect, to provide, while simultaneously being told that expecting anything in return makes you a controlling misogynist. You have to be emotionally available, but never weak. You have to be strong, but never intimidating. You have to earn six figures, but never make her feel less successful. You have to be tall, ripped, funny, confident, vulnerable at the right times, dangerous at others. It's an impossible checklist that keeps getting longer while the appreciation gets shorter. And God forbid you ever point this out. The second you do, you're labeled toxic, insecure, or my personal favorite, you just can't handle a strong woman. No, we can handle strong women just fine. What we can't handle is pouring everything into someone who gives nothing back except demands and criticism. Let me tell you a quick story that drives this home. A buddy of mine, good looking guy, 6'2", owns his own construction company, no kids, no debt, works out 5 days a week, solid dude. He dated a girl for 3 years, paid for every vacation, every dinner, helped her through grad school, was there when her mom got sick. The whole hero routine. One day she sits him down and says, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. I need to work on myself. 2 months later, she's on Instagram, cuddled up with some DJ who lives in his mom's basement, but apparently has better energy. My buddy, he didn't rage, he didn't beg. He just looked at me one night over a beer and said, that's it, I'm done. Never again. And you know what? He's happier now than I've ever seen him. Gym, business, travel, peace, no drama, no walking on eggshells. That's the red pill a lot of men are swallowing right now. Reason number four: the weaponization of false accusations. This one keeps men up at night, and rightfully so. We live in a world where believe all women became a cultural mantra. For years, no evidence required. One tweet, one TikTok, one anonymous post on some forum, and your reputation is destroyed forever. Jobs lost, friends gone, family looking at you sideways. And even if you're proven innocent years later, the damage is done. Johnny Depp is the rare exception who had the money and fame to fight back and win. The average guy, he's finished. So when men see that risk hanging over every single interaction with a woman, from the first approach all the way to marriage, why take the chance? It's literally safer to stay single than to roll those dice. Reason number five: the entitlement epidemic. I want you to really hear this one, ladies. A disturbing number of modern women have been sold the fantasy that they deserve everything without having to bring anything substantial to the table besides their presence. I'm a queen. I bring peace. My personality is enough. Really? Because last I checked, peace is free and personality doesn't pay bills or fix the sink or make you feel safe at 2 a.m. when something goes bump in the night. Yet these same women will turn around and demand a man who earns 100K plus, is over 6 feet tall, has a full head of hair, no baggage, emotionally intelligent, great in bed, funny, ambitious, but still has time for her. While she works a part time job, has debt, 3 kids from 2 different guys, and an attitude that could curdle milk. The math doesn't add up. Men aren't blind. We see the double standards, we see the hypocrisy, and we're done pretending we don't. Let me tell you another story. I was at a coffee shop a couple months ago, just minding my business, when I overheard 2 women in their late 20s talking. One says to the other, "Girl, I don't know why I can't find a good man. All the guys who approach me are broke or short or live with their mom." Her friend nods and says, "Right? Like, where are the real men at?" Meanwhile, both of them are scrolling Tinder, swiping left on 99% of guys, while complaining that no one approaches them in real life anymore. I almost laughed out loud. You want to know where the real men are? Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now. They're at home, they're in the gym, they're building their businesses, they're with their brothers having a beer, talking about anything except women because they've learned that peace is priceless and dealing with that level of delusion is a hard pass. Reason number 6, the death of femininity. This one hurts to say because there are still amazing feminine women out there, but they're becoming the exception, not the rule. Men are wired, biologically wired, to be attracted to softness, kindness, nurturing energy, grace. That's not weakness, that's complementarity. But today, aggression is celebrated, arguing is standing your ground, being loud and combative is boss babe energy. Everything that used to make a woman pleasant to be around has been labeled submissive or pick me behavior. So now we have generations of women competing with men instead of completing them. And men are responding exactly how you'd expect. We're checking out. Why fight for a woman who acts like she wants to wear the pants, make the rules, and still expect you to pay for everything? It doesn't work that way. Reason number 7, social media and the illusion of options. Every woman now thinks she's a 10 because she gets 500 likes on a filtered photo where half the face is hidden behind a dog ear filter. Attention has become the new currency, and it's inflating women's egos to dangerous levels while simultaneously making them completely unfulfilled. Because likes don't keep you warm at night. Thirsty DMs from losers don't build a future. But it does create a generation of women who are never satisfied, always looking over the shoulder for the next best thing, and treating good men like disposable options until something better comes along, which it never does because the grass is green where you water it, not where you keep browsing. And reason number 8, the complete lack of accountability for women. Men are held accountable for everything: their words, their actions, their past, their height, their bank account, their emotional control. Women, not so much. Bad behavior gets excused as healing or setting boundaries or queen energy. Cheat? She was in a bad place. Lie? She was protecting her peace. Treat a good man like garbage? He probably deserved it somehow. Meanwhile, if a man dares make one mistake, he's canceled forever. That imbalance is unsustainable. Men see it. We talk about it in private, and we're opting out because nobody wants to be in a relationship where only one side ever has to grow or improve. Reason number 9, marriage and kids are no longer a good deal for men. Let's be real. Biologically, women have a ticking clock. Men don't. A high value man at 45 is just hitting his prime. He has money, experience, status, options. A woman at 45, the wall is undefeated. Yet society still pushes this narrative that men need to man up and marry the 35-year-old single mom who spent her prime riding the carousel and now suddenly wants a good man to save her from the consequences of her choices. No, thank you. Men are waking up to the fact that marriage today is the worst investment most men will ever make. You sign a contract where she can break the terms at any time and still get rewarded for it. Hard pass. Reason number 10, Peace over everything. This is the big one. This is what it all boils down to. After years of chaos, drama, manipulation, games being used as an emotional tampon or a walking ATM, men have discovered something revolutionary. Life is infinitely better when you're not dealing with any of that. No arguments about nothing, no passive aggressive texts, no wondering if tonight's the night she decides to blow up your phone because you didn't text back fast enough. Just peace. Gym in the morning, work that you love, friends who have your back, hobbies, travel, sleep, growth. For the first time in history, a man can live a full, rich, satisfying life without ever getting married or having kids. And technology plus financial independence has made that not just possible, but preferable for millions of us. And here's where the brutal wake up call for women comes in. The part most of you will hate hearing, but desperately need to understand if you don't want to end up alone, surrounded by cats and wine. Men didn't leave because we got weak. We left because you made staying too expensive, too dangerous, and too damn exhausting. The power was always in your hands. You control access to intimacy, commitment, family. You set the standards. And instead of raising the bar for yourselves to match what you demand from us, you lowered it to the floor while raising the price tag to the moon. Now the market has corrected. Men are walking away, building brotherhoods, focusing on purpose, and living better than ever. And the irony? The same women who screamed, I don't need a man, are now the loudest ones crying, where have all the good men gone? That's the reality check most women aren't ready for, but it's the one that's echoing in gym locker rooms, private Discord servers, late night cigars with the boys. Everywhere men gather without fear of being recorded or canceled. We're not hiding. We're just done advertising our value to people who don't appreciate it. Now, I want to slow this down for a second and talk directly to the women who are still watching, the ones whose stomachs are twisting a little right now, because deep down, on some level, you know there's truth here, even if your ego is screaming at you to close the tab. Breathe, stay with me. This next part isn't about shaming you, it's about giving you the map out of the mess if you actually want out. Here's the part nobody on the blue pill side wants to say out loud. This tide can turn, but only if women collectively decide to bring real value back to the table instead of just demanding it from men. And no, that doesn't mean going back to 1950 and being a barefoot housewife in the kitchen, although a shocking number of high value men would take that deal in a heartbeat if the woman was actually pleasant. It means restoring balance, reciprocity, mutual respect, the things that made relationships work for thousands of years before Instagram therapists and third wave feminism convinced an entire generation that accountability was oppression. Well, let me lay out step by step what would actually make good men pause, turn around, and start considering relationships again. And I'll be brutally honest, most women won't do even half of these things because it requires humility, self-reflection, and effort. But the ones who do, they'll be married to the best men on earth within a year. Guaranteed. First, kill the entitlement, dead, bury it. Stop walking around with a mental checklist of what a man must provide while offering little more than a warm body and attitude in return. Start asking yourself every single day, what do I bring to a man's life that he can't get from peace, his brothers, his purpose, or even a high end escort if we're being crude about it? Because right now, for millions of men, the answer is not enough to justify the risk. If the honest answer stings, good, that's the starting point. Second, bring back genuine femininity, not the performative TikTok version with the fake shy voice and the over the top submissiveness that everyone's mocking right now. I'm talking about real softness, real kindness, the kind of energy that makes a man feel like he can let his guard down for 5 minutes without being judged or weaponized later. Speak life into your man. Cook him a meal because you want to see him smile, not because you're auditioning for wife. Touch his arm when you talk to him. Look at him like he's the only person in the room. These things sound small, but they're extinct in most Western women under 40, and men are starving for it, literally starving. And third, take radical accountability for your past. Own your body count. Own the chaos you created in the previous relationships. Own the red flags you ignored because he was hot or made your friends jealous. Stop hiding behind that was my hoe phase or I'm healed now. High value men can smell the damage a mile away. And we're not signing up to be your therapist with benefits. If you've got baggage, deal with it in therapy, not in your next relationship. Fourth, get your standards in alignment with reality. If you're a six earning $45,000 with debt and three kids, you do not get to demand a childless six-figure man who looks like a fitness model. The market has spoken. Either level up career, body, mindset, spirit, or adjust your expectations to match what you're actually bringing. Anything else is delusion, and men are no longer participating in your fantasy. Fifth, learn how to be a safe place for a man. This one is huge. Modern women have been taught that vulnerability in men is weakness to be exploited. So when a man finally opens up about his struggles, his fears, his pain, what happens? He gets mocked or gets thrown back in his face during the next argument, or worse, shared with the group chat. No wonder men have gone stoic. If you want a real man, become the kind of woman he can tell anything without fear of judgment or retaliation. That kind of trust is rarer than a loyal woman these days, and men will move mountains for it. Let me tell you a story about what this looks like in practice. I have a client, yeah, I coach men privately too, who are fully walking away, passport in hand, ready to move to Southeast Asia permanently. Done with Western women. Then he met a girl from Colombia while on a scouting trip. 26 years old, feminine, soft spoken, no social media presence, traditional values, cooks like a chef, treats him like a king without being a doormat. Within 3 months, he was learning Spanish, flying her to see him, talking about kids. Why? Because for the first time in his adult life, he found a woman who made his life better just by being in it. No drama, no games, just peace, respect, and genuine desire to build something together. That's the bar now, ladies. Women in other countries are raising it while Western women are burning it down. And this is what the passport bro phenomenon comes into full focus. It's not some creepy sex tourism thing like the media wants you to believe. It's men with options refusing to accept the terrible deal being offered at home and going where they're celebrated instead of tolerated. Eastern Europe, Latin America, Southeast Asia, these places are full of young, beautiful, feminine women who still believe a man's provision and protection are worth honoring with loyalty and respect. And guess what? These women are winning. They're getting the high value Western men who gave up on the West. The six-figure engineers, the entrepreneurs, the guys who are fit, driven, and kind. Meanwhile, back home, the women who called these men broke or toxic 5 years ago are hitting 35, freezing their eggs, and making TikToks about where all the good men went. The irony writes itself. But let's go deeper on this because the cope is already loading in the comments. I can feel it. Those men are just going for younger women who they can control. No, they're going for women who haven't been brainwashed into thinking masculinity is toxic and femininity is oppression. They're going for women who understand that relationships require two people showing up as their best selves, not one person demanding the world while giving crumbs. Another story, I was in Medellin last year, sitting at a rooftop bar with a group of American guys, all between 32 and 45, all successful, all in incredible shape. Every single one of them had stories of being burned back home, divorces, false accusations, being used as a meal ticket. One guy showed me pictures of his ex wife who took his dog in the divorce and immediately moved in her personal trainer. These weren't losers, these were winners who got tired of losing. And there they were, surrounded by beautiful 24 to 28-year-old women who were educated, sweet, and genuinely excited to talk to them. Not one of those women asked what car they drove or how much was in their bank account before deciding if they were worth a conversation. That's the difference. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room that triggers everyone: the wall. Yes, it's real. No, it's not just about looks, although biology is undefeated there too. It's about energy. It's about the shift that happens when a woman realizes her options are drying up and suddenly all those standards become negotiable. We've all seen it. The same woman who swore she'd never date a guy under 6 feet is suddenly open minded at 36. The same woman who said kids were a deal breaker now wants to blend families with her three from two different fathers. The same woman who called traditional men controlling now writes long Facebook posts about wanting a real man who leads. It's too late. The high value man saw the game from a mile away and already left the stadium. And here's where it gets really dark for a lot of women watching this. Many of you are going to die alone. Not because you're unlovable, some of you are genuinely great people, but because you spent your prime years chasing validation instead of building something real. And now the men who would have moved heaven and earth for you back then have zero incentive to do so now. And they've seen behind the curtain. They know that changed woman act usually lasts until the ring is on the finger and the kids are born. Then it's right back to the same entitlement that drove them away in the first place. I had a woman in her early 40s reach out to me a few months ago after watching one of my videos. Successful career, beautiful fit, on paper, a catch, but never married, no kids, long string of situationship with guys who wouldn't commit. She asked me point blank, what do I do now? All the men my age want women in their 20s. My answer wasn't cruel, but it was honest. You wait for the widowers and the ones who get tired of the young wives, or you accept that your choices have consequences and find peace in what you built for yourself. She cried. Then she thanked me because someone finally told her the truth instead of feeding her the "you're a queen, it's all men's fault" nonsense that kept her asleep for 15 years. This is the final nail that no one wants to talk about. Men have adapted faster than women realize. We're not waiting anymore. We're not simping. We're not settling. We're building lives so fulfilling that the idea of adding a Western woman into the mix feels like voluntarily signing up for stress and liability. The gym is packed with men getting shredded. Crypto portfolios are growing. Businesses are scaling. Passports are getting stamps. Brotherhoods are stronger than ever. And yes, many of us are dating or marrying women from cultures that still value family, loyalty, and femininity. Life is good, better than it's ever been. So, where does this leave us? With a generation of women who were sold the lie that they could have it all: career, independence, endless options, casual sex without consequences, marriage, and kids on their timeline. And now reality is collecting the bill. The strong, independent queen narrative worked great when you were 25, getting attention from everyone. It works a lot less when you're 35, and the only guys sliding into your DMs are divorced dads with beer bellies looking for a quick ego boost. The wake up call isn't that men are walking away. The wake up call is that we've already left, and most of us aren't coming back. The door wasn't slammed, it was quietly closed while you were busy taking selfies and telling yourselves you didn't need us anyway. The wake up call isn't that men are walking away. The wake up call is that we've already left, and most of us aren't coming back. The door wasn't slammed, it was quietly closed while you were busy taking selfies and telling yourselves you didn't need us anyway. And the silence on the other side of that door is deafening. You don't hear it yet because you're still surrounded by the echo chamber of likes, girlfriends hyping each other up, and delusional dating coaches selling six-figure courses on how to make him obsessed. But in a few years, maybe less, that silence is going to become the loudest thing in your life. The phone that never rings with anything real. The dating apps that only deliver flakes, weirdos, and married men. The birthdays where the only cake is the one you bought yourself and posted with the caption "Self Love Era." The holidays where you fly solo to Bali again because traveling alone is empowering, but deep down you know you're just running from the empty apartment waiting back home. That's the soundtrack of the future for millions of women who thought the rules didn't apply to them. Let me paint the timeline for you because I've watched it play out in real time with dozens of women I've known personally. Year one after the wall hits, denial. You're 32 to 34, still getting attention from the lower tier guys you would have laughed at 5 years ago. But you tell yourself you're just being picky. You double down on career, fillers, Pilates, the vision board with the dream wedding that never materializes. Year two, bargaining. You lower the height requirement from 6 feet 2 inches to 6 feet 0 inches. You start saying, I'm open to kids eventually. You date a guy who's 5 feet 9 inches, but has good energy, and convince yourself it's fine until he ghosts you for a 24-year-old barista. Year three, anger. This is the all men are trash phase on steroids. You make 45 TikToks a week about how men are intimidated by your success while secretly crying in the shower because your last situationship called you intense. Year four, depression. The fillers aren't filling the void anymore. Your best friend gets engaged to a guy you swore was mid. You adopt another cat. Therapy 3 times a week. Year five, acceptance, sort of. You settle for the divorced dad with 2 kids and a vasectomy who texts you up at 1 a.m. on weekends. He doesn't have custody. Or you don't settle at all and become the cool aunt who spoils everyone else's kids while pretending you never wanted them anyway. That's not hyperbole. That's the script I've watched unfold over and over again since 2018. I have screenshots, text threads, voice notes from women who used to laugh at Red Pill Bros, now begging for advice on how to get him back after they monkey branched one too many times and finally ran out of branches. But here's what separates the women who actually turn it around from the ones who become cautionary tales. The ones who recover are the ones willing to burn the entire old identity to the ground and rebuild from ash. I knew a woman named Sarah, sharp, gorgeous corporate lawyer, made partner at 34, the full boss babe package. Used to post the men are trash memes, had a body count she joked was triple digits, dated athletes and CEOs, thought marriage was a patriarchal trap. Then 36 hit. The partners at her firm started retiring and marrying their 28-year-old assistants. Her exes started posting engagement photos with women 10 years younger. The invitation stopped coming. She had a full meltdown in my DMs one night at 3 a.m., drunk, crying, asking if it was really over. I didn't sugarcoat it. I told her straight, if you want a shot, you have exactly 24 to 36 months before you're permanently off the market for any high-value man with options. You have to become a completely different woman than the one who built that life. And credit to her, she did the work. Deleted Instagram for a year, got off birth control and fixed her hormones, started cooking real meals instead of ordering Uber Eats, read every book on femininity she used to mock, joined a church even though she'd been atheist since college, learned how to shut her mouth and listen instead of debate and dominate, started dressing like a woman who wants to be approached instead of one who wants to intimidate. 6 months in, she met a widowed engineer with 1 kid, solid guy, not flashy, but makes 400K plus, calm, masculine, zero drama. They're getting married next spring. She's 39 now, pregnant with their first together, happier than she's ever been in her life. She messages me every couple of months just to say thank you for not lying to her when everyone else was. That's the blueprint. But it only works if you're willing to admit you were wrong, publicly, privately, completely. And 99% of women would rather die alone than do that because ego is the most expensive thing a modern woman owns. Let's talk about the passport bros again, because that phenomenon is accelerating faster than any of us predicted even 2 years ago. Entire Facebook groups with 100,000 plus members dedicated to men relocating or semi relocating. Private discords where guys share vetted cities, visa hacks, apartment recommendations, even trusted local matchmakers. Flight search data shows massive spikes in American and European men aged 28 to 55 booking one way or long stay tickets to Colombia, Brazil, Philippines, Thailand, Ukraine, when it reopens, Dominican Republic, you name it. These aren't broke losers like the media loves to portray. These are dentists, software engineers, real estate investors, former military, men with 6 and 7 figure net worths who simply refuse to accept the garbage deal back home. I was in Bogota last month for 3 weeks. Met a 42-year-old guy from Seattle, former Amazon senior dev, sold his RSUS at the peak, walked away with 8 figures liquid, lives in a penthouse in Medellin now, engaged to a 26-year-old dentist who speaks perfect English, cooks arepas from scratch, and worships the ground he walks on. He told me point blank, I make in 3 months here what I used to make in a year grinding in Seattle, and my fiance treats me better than any American woman ever treated me on my best day. That's not an anomaly anymore. That's Tuesday. Meanwhile, back in the States, the dating market for women over 30 has collapsed so hard, it's almost comical if it wasn't so tragic. Hinge and Bumble are ghost towns for anyone past 32, unless you're in the top 1% of looks and have zero baggage. The men who are still there are either players pumping and dumping, divorced guys looking for a nurse with a purse, or the bottom 20% who couldn't get a date in high school and now think they deserve a supermodel because they read a few Reddit threads. And the cope mechanisms are getting more creative by the day. I'm focusing on my purpose. Biological children aren't that important. I have my dogs and my plants and my girls. Men age like milk, women age like wine. All lies we tell ourselves when the truth hurts too much. Because the data doesn't lie. Marriage rates are in free fall, birth rates are catastrophic. 2025 census projections show that by 2030, over 50% of women aged 30 to 44 in major Western cities will be childless and unmarried. That's not freedom. That's the biggest demographic disaster in modern history hiding in plain sight. But let's flip the script for a minute and talk to the men who are still on the fence, the ones who haven't fully walked away yet, the ones who still catch feelings sometimes, who still wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's a unicorn out there. Brothers, listen close. There is no unicorn. There is no not like the other girl's girl who's magically going to be loyal, feminine, low body count, debt free, no tattoos, virgin, makes 6 figures, but still wants to stay home and raise your kids. That woman exists, but she's either already married by 24 or she's in Poland learning how to make pierogi for her future husband while you're still swiping on Tinder. The window for finding her in the West closed sometime around 2015. Stop torturing yourself looking for exceptions to prove the rule. Protect your peace, stack your money, get your passport, and live the life you actually want instead of the one society guilt trips you into wanting. And to the young guys watching this 18 to 25, consider this your cheat code. Do not follow the path your fathers and grandfathers followed. Do not get married in the West unless she's bringing something so extraordinary to the table that you'd be insane to say no. And even then, get an ironclad prenup and keep separate assets. Do not cohabitate. Do not get her pregnant by accident. Do not sacrifice your 20s building for a woman who will leave the second someone with more followers slides into her DMs. Build yourself into a man who has so much value that women chase you and then keep walking anyway, because the chase is the best part. And commitment is the consolation prize you give to women who actually deserve it. I want to end this with a story that ties it all together. Last year, I was in Miami having dinner with a group of guys, 10 of us, all between 35 and 50, all self made, all single by choice or fresh out of divorces. Net worth in the room was probably north of 80 million combined. Every one of us could walk into any club in the world and leave with whoever we wanted. And you know what we spent 4 hours talking about? Not women, not sex, not bragging about conquest. We talked about real estate deals in Panama. We talked about setting up trusts in the Caymans. We talked about which gyms in Eastern Europe have the best squat racks. We talked about mentoring younger guys to avoid the traps we fell into. At one point, A smoking hot 22-year-old influencer walked by our table, literally the kind of girl who stops traffic, and not one of us even turned our heads because we've all had that girl. We've all had versions of her 10 times over. And we all know exactly how empty it feels the next morning. That's the future. Tables full of high value men who have everything society says we're supposed to want. And we're happier discussing offshore banking than dealing with the drama of modern dating. That's what walking away actually looks like when it scales. Not rage, not bitterness, just quiet, unbreakable peace. And the craziest part, we're not angry anymore. We're grateful we woke up, grateful we dodged the bullet, grateful for the brotherhood, the freedom, the ability to wake up every day and answer to no one but ourselves and God. So, to every woman still clinging to the old script, the party's over. The music stopped, and most of the good men took their chairs and went home. A few of us left the light on for the women willing to do the impossible work of real change, but the window on that is closing fast. To every man watching this, keep walking, keep building, keep leveling up. The best revenge is a life so good that no one from your past can even recognize it. And to everyone, protect your peace at all costs. It's the one thing no one can ever take from you unless you hand it over willingly. That sentence right there is the entire philosophy in one line. Everything I've said for the last hour boils down to that. Peace is not negotiable. Peace is not something you trade for the hope of love, for the fantasy of a ring, for the fear of being alone, for societal approval, or for the fleeting dopamine hit of a woman finally texting, "I miss you," after you've gone silent for 3 months. Peace is the final currency. Once a man truly tastes it, he will never again trade it for chaos disguised as passion. I want to drill this into your skull because most people still don't get it. They think walking away is about anger. They think men going their own way and men walking away is some bitter support group for guys who couldn't get laid. That's what the media wants you to believe, so you dismiss the whole thing as incels in denial. No. The men who are truly free aren't the ones screaming on podcasts or making rage bait content, although some of us do that too. The real ones are ghosts. You will never hear from them again. They deleted Instagram, changed their number, moved to a new city or a new country, and built a life so clean that no ex, no baby mama, no family court judge, no false accuser can ever touch it again. They're in Thailand teaching Muay Thai and dating a former beauty queen who makes them breakfast every morning. They're in Portugal running an online business from a cliffside villa while surfing at sunrise. They're in small town Texas with 80 acres, a dog, and a safe full of gold they never have to justify to anyone. They don't post about it. They don't need your validation. They're gone. And the scariest part for the women who are finally waking up, there is no map to find these men anymore. They're not on the apps. They're not at the bars. They're not in your DMs. They're not even in most major Western cities anymore. They have vanished into a parallel society that runs right alongside yours, but you can't see it because you're still looking in the places where broken men used to congregate. The high value ones built their own table, and there are no seats left for entitled energy. Let me tell you about a private Discord server I'm in with about 420 guys. Average net worth north of 7 figures. Average age 38. Zero drama, zero simping, zero tolerance for excuses. Every week, someone posts a new passport stamp or a picture of a new fiance from some third world country who treats him like royalty. Every week, someone else posts a screenshot of an ex who hit him up after 3 years of silence, now suddenly ready to settle down, and the entire chat just laughs because we've all seen that movie before and we know how it ends. These are dentists from Canada married to a 25-year-old Ukrainian refugee who learned English in 6 months just to make him happy. These are former Wall Street traders living in Bali with Filipino wives who quit their nursing jobs because he makes more in a month than she made in a year back home. These are quiet millionaires in Colombia whose biggest daily decision is whether to have the maid cook bandeja paisa or ají tuna for dinner. This isn't fantasy. This is happening right now at scale, and it's accelerating every single day. And before anyone screams mail order brides or sex tourism, let me stop you. These are vetted long term relationships. These men fly the women out multiple times. They meet the families, they learn the language, they build houses, they have kids. The divorce rate in these arrangements is a fraction of Western marriages because both sides actually understand the deal. He brings provision, protection, leadership. She brings loyalty, femininity, peace. No games, no feminist theory, no equal partners nonsense where both people act like competitors, just two people playing their natural roles and winning together. That's it. Meanwhile, back in America, the UK, Canada, Australia, the dating statistics are apocalyptic. I'm not cherry picking studies here. The numbers are public and getting worse by the month. As of November 2025, the latest Pew and CDC data show that 63% of men under 30 are single compared to 34% of women the same age. That gap is the widest ever recorded. Why? Because the top 20% of men are dating multiple women, the bottom 80% have checked out completely, and the women are all chasing the same small pool of chads who will never commit. The middle is hollowed out. The average guy isn't competing anymore. He looked at the scoreboard, saw the game was rigged, and took his ball and went home. And the birth rates? Don't even get me started. South Korea just announced their fertility rate dropped below 0.7. Japan is on track for 1.2. Italy, Spain, the UK, all under 1.4 and falling. The United States is at 1.62 and plummeting. Entire civilizations are choosing extinction over fixing the sexual marketplace because women would rather share a high value man or stay single than settle for a normal guy who treats them well. That's not hyperbole, that's math. In 20 years, there will be nursing homes full of childless cat ladies who spent their fertile years making PowerPoints and traveling with the girls, wondering why no one warned them that time was the one resource they could never buy back. And I want to read you something real quick. This is a DM I got 2 nights ago from a 37-year-old woman in Los Angeles. I'm not going to say her name, but this is copied and pasted. Angry, I've watched all your videos twice. I hate you and I agree with you at the same time. I have everything: VP at a tech company, condo in Venice Beach, went to Ivy League, travel the world, no kids, never married. I've dated CEOs, pro athletes, actors. I always thought I could have kids at 40 with some sperm donor or whatever. Now I'm looking at my friends who did IVF at 38 to 42 and their kids have issues or they're still single and exhausted. I'm terrified. The guys I actually like won't commit because they say I'm too independent. The guys who want to commit, I don't want. I feel stuck. Is it really over for me? That message broke my heart a little, not because I feel sorry for her in the victim sense, but because she's living the exact future that third wave feminism promised women in the 90s and 2000s. Have it all. Freeze your eggs. Men will wait. Career first. And now the bill is due and the interest is brutal. I wrote her back a long message telling her the truth. It's not 100% over, but her pool of desirable men just shrank to maybe 2 to 3% of what it was at 27. And every month that ticks by, it gets smaller. She has to become a completely different person starting tomorrow or accept a life of high end solitude. She thanked me and said she's quitting her job next year to move to Texas and figure it out. I hope she makes it. Most don't. Let's talk about the women who do make it, the rare unicorns who actually reverse course and win. I know 3 of them personally, all in their mid to late 30s now, all married to high value men, all with kids under 5. Common denominators? Every single one deleted social media completely. Every single one got rid of all their toxic single friends. Every single one started dressing modestly and feminine. Every single one learned to cook, clean, and create a home that feels like a sanctuary instead of a hotel room. Every single one apologized to exes not to get them back, but to clear karma. Every single one got into therapy and faith. Every single one started speaking softly and respectfully. and every single one had to eat a mountain of humble pie in silence while the world called them pygmies behind their backs. But now they're the ones posting family photos from their ranch houses while their former boss babe friends post another girls' trip to Tulum with the same four childless women they've been vacationing with since 2017. That's the price. Total ego death or slow death by loneliness. There is no third option anymore. Now, I want to speak directly to the young women watching this, the 18 to 25 crowd who still have time but are being fed the most poisonous lies imaginable on TikTok and Instagram right now. Listen to me and listen good. Every year you spend finding yourself, traveling, hooking up, chasing clout, building a career that will never love you back is a year you are permanently removing yourself from the high value marriage market. The data is crystal clear. Men overwhelmingly prefer women under 30 with low body counts, no kids, pleasant personalities, and the ability to bond deeply without baggage. The longer you wait, the more you damage your own value in the eyes of the men you actually want. You do not get those years back. You do not get to freeze your beauty, your fertility, or your ability to pair bond. Every thirst trap you post, every situationship you entertain, every I'm the prize caption is another brick in the wall that will separate you from the future you say you want. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying understand the trade offs. If you want the husband, the kids, the family vacations, the man who leads and provides and protects, then act like the woman who deserves that now, not at 35 when your options are gone and you're willing to take scraps you would have laughed at 10 years earlier. And to the parents watching this, especially the fathers of daughters, wake the hell up. Stop letting your little girls grow up consuming Andrew Tate 1 minute and Cardi B the next with no guidance. Stop letting them get tattoos at 18 and birth control at 15 and OnlyFans at 19. Your daughter is not strong and independent at 22 with purple hair and a finance degree and a body count higher than her credit score. She's lost. And you failed her if you didn't teach her that her value is in her character, her femininity, her ability to build a home, not in how many likes she gets shaking her ass online. The fathers who get it are locking down wives for their sons at 21 to 24 years old from traditional families, church, small towns, overseas, anywhere the poison hasn't spread yet. The rest are watching their daughters become the very women we're all walking away from. We're almost at the end now, and I want to leave you with something that's going to piss a lot of people off, but needs to be said out loud. The era of Western women as the prize is over. Done. Finished. The market has spoken. Women in Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, they're the new standard now. They won. They kept their femininity, their loyalty, their grace, their desire to build families while Western women were busy proving they didn't need men. And now the men with options are voting with their passports and their ring fingers. The great redistribution of high value men is happening in real time. And there's nothing any amount of shaming language or media articles or Where Are All the Good Men podcasts can do to stop it. The West had the most privileged women in human history, and they squandered it on validation, casual sex, and ideology. History will not be kind. But for the men reading this, my brothers, this is the greatest time in history to be alive as a man. You have options your grandfather couldn't dream of. You have knowledge he never had access to. You have freedom he never tasted. Embrace it. Build wealth. Build your body. Build unbreakable brotherhood. Travel the world. Date whoever brings you peace. Marry only if she's extraordinary and the deal is ironclad. Have kids only if you're ready to lead a legacy. And never, ever, under any circumstances, trade your peace for a fantasy that no longer exists. This is the red pill in its final form. Not hate, not revenge, just clarity. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Protect your peace, protect your purpose, protect your freedom. The rest will take care of itself. What did you think about all this? Did any of it hit home? Do you agree? Disagree? Want to fight me in the comments? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one and I respond when it's worth responding to. Like the video if you like it, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.